Who would have thought that y'all really loved hearing about all my favorite RPGs? The ones that I would personally rank a 10 out of 10, no questions asked. And since my first video did so well, I figured, what the hey? I've played literally hundreds of games over these 40 years that I've been on this planet, so I know 10 more bangers. Let's do this. Number 10. Phantasy Star 4, released for the Sega Genesis, Nintendo Wii, and PC. I was a Nintendo kid growing up, so despite wanting to play Phantasy Star, I couldn't, because as my mother famously said, Sega and Nintendo, who cares? What's the difference? Well, I certainly cared. But anyway, this gem tells a story rivaling any SNES game, with endearing characters, cartoony, fun cutscenes, and a fast-paced battle system where you can program in your own macros, along with multiple planets to explore, and a deep, involved history that goes back to the very first game. This is a classic. And now that we're in a retro JRPG renaissance, Sega needs to pick this series back up. Number 9. Chained Echoes, released for the PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PC. Yes, this is an indie RPG, but it's a really good one! Gone are the days when if you could just say like, oh, it's an indie game? Who cares? Nowadays, many of these indies are really frickin' good, and Chained Echoes is definitely the poster child for that. Taking the best of the classics of the SNES era, but with a modern touch, this is special because it was developed by one developer who added his own twists on it with a fun, strategic, and difficult battle system. You're gonna fall in love with the characters, the expansive world, and just be on the edge of your seat waiting for what's going to be happening next in that riveting story. Number 8. Trials of Mana, released for the PS4, mobile, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Gosh, what a great remake this is. Remake can sometimes be like a crapshoot, but they did justice to this SNES masterpiece. Here, they rebalanced all of the gameplay elements and classes, and they created gorgeous open environments to explore. Say what you will about that voice acting, but to me, it's just icing on the cake. You can switch it over to Japanese, turn it off, or just bask in the glory that is its horribleness. With 6 different characters to choose from, each with 9 classes and 3 different storyline routes to take, this is just the game that keeps on giving. And hey, if you're liking this, please be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for some more great content. And with that, number 7, Bahama Lagoon, released for the SNES. This is easily one of the most beautiful SNES games ever made, with masterful music, lovable characters who actually felt like real people, and a glorious setting set high above the sky. This is a strategy RPG taking place on floating islands where you fight, fly, and control dragons. I could be wrong, but I do feel like this is the first time that we're able to create real environmental effects, such as using ice to create bridges over rivers, or breathing fire to like burn down a forest. If you're a fan of strategy RPGs at all, you really should look up this hidden gem that has now been fully translated into English. Number 6. Shining Force 3, released for the Sega Saturn. As a Nintendo kid, there are some holes in my Sega knowledge, but nowadays I've played all the best ones, and I can tell you matter-of-factly that this is one of the best strategy RPGs that I've ever played for any system. It's just a crying shame that it's stuck in the notoriously difficult to play Saturn. In Japan, this one was released as 3 different scenarios. However, we only got the first one in America, and it's still superb. But if anything deserves a port to a modern system, it is this game. And nowadays, they could take all 3 of those scenarios and put them together into one disc and create one long, massive, fantastic game. That would just be the most. Number 5. Skies of Arcadia, released for the Sega Dreamcast and Nintendo GameCube. I skipped over the GameCube, but once I got the Wii, I went out and I got all those great RPGs that I missed, and this here was first on my list. Released over on the Sega Dreamcast at first, it was then ported over to the Cube with some added features, and it's an absolute treasure. You play as Vice, a sky pirate, with his 2 little girly friends, and together you'll soar through the skies on your own airship, discovering unknown lands and secret discoveries. It's your job not only to save that world, but to map it too. The world is your oyster, so go out and get it, girl. Number 4. Star Ocean: The Second Story, released for the PS1 and 3 and the PSP. Although I heard of Star Ocean before I played this, the second entry was my introduction to the series, and what a banger it was! Featuring dual protagonists with completely different stories and different characters that you can recruit, along with over 80 endings, that replay value is through the roof. There's also 2 different planets to explore, a gripping storyline, and fast-paced Tales-like action combat. This is easily the best Star Ocean ever made, and there is a reason why the 6th game emulated the success that is found here, because this is what Star Ocean is all about. Number 3. Tales of Arise, released for the PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. The Tales games are up there with Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy as one of the best RPG series out there. I mean, you pretty much know what you're going to be getting into with them, and they rarely disappoint. And their latest release is no exception. Telling a great story rooted in slavery and racism, you'll traverse across a beautiful open region world. Along the way, you'll fall in love with those characters as well as the deceptively simple battle system. Many times, people can just be guilty of saying like the latest game release is the best release in the franchise, but here, I'm serious. I mean, at least until we get a modern remake of, Tales of the Abyss or something, then that would totally take the place. Number 2. Final Fantasy V, released for the SNES, Game Boy Advance, Mobile, PC, PS1, PS4, and Switch. I've said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. I would suck a dick for a good job system, and this is the best that there is. As you go through the first world, you'll unlock well over 20 different job classes, and you can mix and match different skills and abilities for your party. But just whenever you think that it's over, you're gonna get shot off to another world, and then shortly thereafter, the worlds all merge into a third one. I love job classes, and I love world maps, and this game has them all in spades. The last world is kind of like a precursor to the world of Ruin too, as it's just like Side Quest City. I play through this game once a year as a random job challenge over on the Twitch, and it never disappoints. And number 1, Dragon Quest XI S Definitive Edition, released for the PS4, Switch, Xbox, and PC. It's really no big secret that Dragon Quest is my favorite series of all time. There are just so many good ones, and the most recent entry is especially good, with amazing characters, a massive world to explore on foot or by riding monsters, fantastic British voice acting, great turn-based battles, and a refined weapon tree system. Dragon Quest knows that if it's not broke, you don't fix it. The S Edition also includes a whole new game mode where you can play it all in 2D, so it's really an entirely different experience that moves along at a much faster clip, and it reminds me of all the games that I grew up with back on the NES and SNES. So, that's for 10 more games that I would say deserve a perfect score of 10 out of 10. What games do you think are perfect? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video and what I do on the channel, please consider following me over on Twitter, supporting me on Patreon for exclusive videos and early access to my content, heading on over to Twitch for streaming fun, or coming on over to my Discord to chat and hang out. The links to them all can be found in the video description. This has been David, and if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.